Welcome back to Genre. I'm Katy.
And I'm Elyse.
And today we're going to be talking about Rumors and Whiskey by Victoria Wilder. But first, we have some things to say.
We sure do. Katy, I'd like to talk about what's happened with this book. Once you finish this book, Kay?
I finished this book not even 5 minutes ago. Elyse, to be honest, I am halfway through the epilogue. Julian's epilogue.
You didn't even finish it all the way. I mean, it's okay.
I don't think I...
Surprise! It's a romance. They live happily ever after.
Yeah. So I figured that was okay because we were like, we got to get the show on the road because once again, ladies and gentlemen, today is Tuesday, June 16th. This episode is coming out Thursday, June 18th.
Yes. And you know what? Happy publication day to Rumors and Whiskey because we are recording this on the day it came out. We were lucky enough to be on the ARC team for this book because we loved the Bourbon Boys series. So we did have the book early, and Katy did have the book early. I have somebody to blame for why you didn't finish this book until 5 minutes ago, Katy.
And that's you.
No, it's the New York Knicks.
True.
Yeah, because you became the New York Knicks' biggest fan in the past week. Mm-hmm. And while, sure, could I have figured out how to get you the ARC earlier? Of course, I could have.
I think
Katy.
You could have, yeah.
I could have. I tried a few times, couldn't figure it out. I did finally figure it out at one point, which was
1 week ago.
Yeah, it was a week. It was on I want to say it was on Saturday. It was on the car ride back from Atlantic City that I figured it out. So, yes. So you had enough time to finish this book, but you became the New York Knicks' biggest fan in the past week, and you couldn't think or do anything else but just think about
Knicks, baby.
The Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5.
Yeah. So
that's
it was the Knicks' fault that you didn't finish this book until 5 minutes ago.
It's very true. Honestly, I've been on a bit of a complicated reading journey because shockingly, I'm reading 3 books at once. And by that, I mean, I'm listening to a book. I am reading with my eyes this book because there's no audiobook yet. It just came out. And then I had another book that's just for myself. And every single night, I feel like when I've had time to really do some extended reading, Knicks game.
Yeah.
Knicks game.
Exactly right, Katy.
And I'm up too late, and then I'm just like, I have to go to sleep. I can't read. I can't focus.
Yeah. I know. So, yeah, it was the Knicks that really did us in.
Yep, but you know what, baby?
Me and the Knicks.
Knicks in 5. Champions.
Champions.
And I finished the goddamn book.
You did. If it went to 6 games, I don't think we would have reported this week.
Because I wouldn't have been here. I would have been down at the garden.
Outside the garden at a party.
Me and Elyse were down watching the Knicks game in Delaware on Saturday night, and there was some older men, some union men from the city. They were talking about how they had retired down there recently, and they left maybe with 15 minutes left of the last quarter, or maybe right before the fourth quarter. And this guy looked at me. He's like, "Hey, honey, we're leaving. You know, it looks like the boys are gonna bring it back to the garden. It's gonna be Tuesday night at the garden." And I was like, "Yeah, man, maybe." And what do you know?
What do you know? They didn't
get home that night.
They took it home. They're not going back to the garden.
They're not going back to the garden.
Garden.
They're not going back to the garden.
You're doing an excellent impression of that man. What he was from? He was like from the plumbing union 123 or something. Mm-hmm. You guys had a deep conversation of what union he was from. I come back from the bathroom and I'm like, that's it. Katy and this guy. Katy's talking like she's part of her union. Yeah, to this man.
I was like my best friend Erica's dad's in the union, her uncle's, and I'm going the electrician union, the carpenter union. We were really talking.
Yeah, really talking. It was
a good time.
Yeah.
The garden.
Mm-hmm. I will say that I'm also in I'm in an opposite reading situation where I feel like I'm reading many books at the same time, but it feels like I've picked 3 giant books, and like I'm not finishing any of them. So I'm reading Broken Dove, and then I'm reading Because I Killed Him, which is this dystopian new novel that came out.
Heard of that.
It's percolating on TikTok, and I was like, this sounds really good. And I was saying, oh my god, we should read it for the pod. But once again, it's new and it doesn't have an audiobook, and it's 800 pages, and I'm like, I can't do this to my sister Katy. I can't do
people
it to her.
people that don't know, I spend a tremendous amount of time in the car, or commuting in some way, shape, or form. So I am also reading Broken Dove, and I'm nearly finished with that book because
I bet you're further
an
than
audio.
me.
I haven't even bought that book. I'm just listening to it on Audible, and I'm almost done with it. Meanwhile, this book that I had to read with my eyes was taking me forever.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just not finishing anything because these books are long, and I'm also like, I'm finding myself being like, what should I be reading? Do I need to be reading something else? I finished the 8th Dungeon Crawler Carl, also long, as we all knew it was going to be. But like usually I'm reading, on average, this year, I finished 3 books a week.
That's literally fucking insane. Like,
I know.
You know, I actually don't know how you read this many books, because I know that you're such a sleeper sin, and you go upstairs and you read a book and you immediately fall asleep. So like, at what other points of the day are you actually reading with your eyes?
Okay, well, that's where you're wrong, Katy. I go upstairs to read a book and I don't immediately fall asleep. I'm usually up for at least an hour reading. And depending on the book is depending how fast I'm reading. If I'm reading just some of my fun little romance books, I can read them pretty fast. If I'm reading a heavier book, then I read them slower just because they require more brain and eye attention.
I don't know what to say about that.
I mean, I'm just saying, June is a slow month. I think summer's hard for me. We're like the opposite, or at least I'm the opposite. People are just like, I can't wait for the summer. I'm going to have so much time to read. I'm going to be at the beach reads, beach this, reading, summer reading. And I'm like, no, I'm busy in the summer. People are coming over the house. We have guests. I'm not reading at the beach. I'm gabbing at the beach. I am gossiping at the beach.
We are gossiping. We are having cocktails. We're having some type of wonderful beach drink that we've created.
We're drunken outside. And I can't read if I'm drunken outside.
No, like Brianna's coming this weekend down to the house, and we're going to go to the beach probably every single day, and there's going to be no reading at the beach.
There's going to be not a second that we're not yapping.
We're never not yapping, having tuna salad.
Yeah. We have to make the pasta.
We have to make the pasta.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell her that.
I actually had that thought today as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, maybe we could get into the book. Katy, why don't you bring us into the book by singing the song you've been singing ever since you finished this book?
Tennessee whiskey.
Beautiful.
I have so many things to say. I'm completely unprepared. I have not done my outline because I finished this book 12 minutes ago now. Mm-hmm. So Elyse is going to drive this episode, and I'm going to wing it.
Yeah, and I have prepared. It is my book, so the most of the preparation was going to fall upon me. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so getting into the spoiler-free section. So just as a reminder, the next 20 or so minutes, we'll talk about the book spoiler-free. We'll sound the alarm when we start getting into the deep spoilers, but this should just give you enough info to see if this book is for you, if you want to pick it up. All right, so I'm going to give a short synopsis of Rumors and Whiskey, and it goes a little like this. After surviving a nightmare that forced her into hiding, Wyn Crowne returns to Rumor, Tennessee, determined to reclaim her life while keeping her past buried. But when a dead body, a missing cop, her mysterious family, and a charming jeweler named Julian Colton expose the dangerous truths behind the Crowne women's reputation, Wyn must rely on whiskey and family to keep history from repeating itself.
Bum,
bum, bum, bum, bum.
That was a great description.
Thanks, Katy. So the author is Victoria Wilder, author of the Bourbon Boys series, and honestly one of my favorite authors of recent years. I love Bourbon Boys, which is why we reached out and we got on her ARC team, because I'm like, I want to read this first. I want to get an early app out about it. And I was waiting for this book. I was chomping at the bit for it.
Chomping at the bit. And this is not a spoiler, but there is some interconnective tissue.
Yes.
Between
Julian,
worlds.
we'll go into it, but Julian was in the Bourbon Boys series. So he was, so you didn't read the full series. That's why you're making that face. So
let me just, for the listeners here, I read the first Bourbon and Lies book, introduced it to my best friend, Erica, and that is what has kicked off her reading journey. And I did not read the two other books in the series just because we got a lot of other books to read. But I learned in this book that, he had visited Fiasco.
Yes.
Kentucky.
So he's familiar with Fiasco and the boys.
Yeah.
And this is the same genre as Bourbon Boys, which is romantic suspense. We got the romance, but there's suspense, there's mystery, there's murder. There's lots of things that are going on in this book.
Okay, interesting. I was going to ask you because yes, this is a romance, but this book to me felt much more like a mystery thriller, personally.
Yeah.
I don't know if the two other Bourbon Boys felt that way, but I liked Bourbon and Lies a lot because there was a whole other story besides the romance piece of it. But this one, I felt like that the mystery, the thriller part of it played a much bigger part.
Yeah. This, I'd say, is darker than any of the Bourbon Boys. We could actually set the scene really quick. This book opens with Wyn, our main lady, being held prisoner by a man who feels like a serial killer. It's not specified necessarily what's going on there, but she's definitely held captive, like can't leave, and has been for a while. She's sort of given up hope, but like not totally. She's not going to crack. Yeah. She's not giving this guy anything, but she does not think she's getting out. And then there is just a cluster of things that happen one of the days that allow her to escape. She's able to get out because he brings in a new victim. He forgets to lock the door. There's a scuffle and she runs. And then we sort of like smash cut after that Wyn is back home where she's trying to sort of reintegrate into her life. She's a professor of organic chemistry. She's trying to go back to school to teach. She's trying to find her place back with her family again, which she's one of 3 girls. And I know, which is same thing as us. Always love a 3-sister story. And the Crowne women are notorious in Rumor, Tennessee. Rumors spiral all about them. They run, sounds like a hoot of a bar. I want to go to the Whispering Fool. The Whispering Fool seems like so much fun. And so she's trying to find her place again. And then within the first chapter, she walks into the Whispering Fool. And what does she see is a dead body. And the man that she met when she was in witness protection had a quick one-night affair with, but has never really forgotten him. And there he is in that bar, like standing over a dead body. And then that is, boom, how we go into the story.
Yep. I would just like to read this text message from Erica.
Oh, is she reading it?
So we were discussing it and she's like, I was like, oh, you've got to start it. It's coming out today. And so she sent me a screenshot in the car of her reading it. And she said, wow, beginning is giving Dexter.
Ooh, yeah. It's not giving Dexter. That's true.
There you go. Just to set that scene.
Yeah. And so the tropes are very much around, I think, the suspense and like the romantic suspense portion of it. Witness protection, hidden identities. Like, and then we have the small town, the found family, but also this is a family. This is like a family with secrets type of story. The Crowne women have gathered some people around them, but since we're sort of going from Wyn's point of view, it's like she, I think, is trying to find her way back into that family. She never really fit. So, and now she's, I mean, truly and legitimately traumatized. Is having a hard time reintegrating. And she hasn't told her entire family what happened to her. She has just told her sisters. And one of the cops in town, who is the father-in-law of one of her sisters.
The father-in-law of one of her sisters.
Yeah.
Who was like the WITSEC
contact.
liaison.
Yeah,
if you will.
Yeah. And this is a dual POV book, so we're getting Wyn's point of view and we're getting Julian's point of view throughout it. And the audiobook, which I didn't listen to, I read it with my eyes, but I actually listened to it a little bit today just because I wanted to hear it, is excellent.
Yeah,
it has like some really good narrators in it.
I feel like Bourbon and Lies might have been one of the first books that I listened to in audiobook format where the duet, I was like, oh, this is like I like hearing
you like a
book.
duet. Yeah.
I love a duet. Downloaded the audiobook literally this morning when I had 70% left of this book so that on my commute to and fro work, I was able to listen to it. And it's great. I listened to the rest of the book on audiobook and it was good.
All right. So let's get into the characters a little bit.
Okay.
We have Wyn, who is our heroine. And as I said, rightfully traumatized, was definitely held and tortured by a serial killer for several months. I don't know. Do we get like a timeline? I will assume several months.
She does say it at one point, and I think it is months.
Yeah, it's months. It's not weeks. It's not years. It's not weeks. It's not years. It's months.
It's months.
She is very into whiskey, even though it's sort of like a hobby to her because she became this organic chemistry professor to basically spite her family before all of this happened. Like, she didn't want to be one of the Crowne women working out of the Whispering Fool, dancing on the bar, reading tarot. Basically, she didn't want to be as cool as her family. And she had to go and spite them and become an organic chemistry professor, which, of course, does lend itself to whiskey making, which is sort of which is her hobby.
She's also eldest daughter.
Yes. And boy, howdy is she.
Yeah, she really
boy,
is.
Howdy is she an eldest daughter. Then we have Julian, who's our male lead. And as I was telling Katie, which she didn't know, we did meet him in the last Bourbon and Lies book. So, so he's a jeweler and like an artist. He's like a very well-respected jeweler. But he is also working in his family's business as a cleaner, quote unquote, meaning you call him when you need to get rid of a body. And that was what he was doing in the last Bourbon and Lies books. He was cleaning for for Ace, the oldest of the Atticus, the oldest of the Fox brothers. And he's trying to go legit in this book, though. He says that he's going to do one last job. And it happened to be for the Crownes because his father has died and he just doesn't want, he's going to try and turn over a new leaf. And then into the sisters, we have Jo, who is the artist sister. She works at the Whispering Fool, and she's a painter. She's
the youngest, I believe.
Yes, and she's very much a creative type. She sort of seems like the softest of the sisters. Although, if I'm remembering...
She's like Mandy, like our little sister.
But if I'm remembering correctly, she also performs at the Whispering Fool in like a very... And I don't know, you read it more recent. I think wasn't she like on the swing? Sort of like at a burlesque type. It was,
that was
you know what? It would make more sense that it was Stevie. I was like, was it Jo or Stevie?
No, I think it was Stevie.
Yeah, she's definitely the softest of the sisters. And then we go to Stevie, who, what doesn't Stevie do? Okay,
Stevie does it all.
Stevie does it all.
I love Stevie.
Yeah, she's a podcaster.
A true crime podcaster.
Yeah, a true crime enthusiast podcaster. Her podcast mixes true crime with whiskey tastings. And apparently, top of the charts. Top of the charts. She's doing great. She's, an overall badass. And she is the one who very much like, she's, the Whispering Fool is kind of her bar at this point. Yeah. It was started by her grandmother and run by her mother and stuff, but Stevie sort of taken it over. And she has a son and a sort of husband. We're not really sure what the deal is with that husband. Stevie does get the next book, so I feel like we'll learn some more.
How do you know that?
Because if you read through the epilogue, Katie, you would see it at the end.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry. See, this is like I'm hot off the press.
Yeah, you're hot off the press. You're hot off the book. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but the cop that knows that Wyn was in witness protection and also held captive for that long is the dad of the sort of husband of Stevie.
Yes.
And then we have Birdie, who could be one of the best characters I've ever read. And Birdie is the grandma, and she's unbelievable.
She's a matriarch.
Yeah, I just put the matriarch in my notes.
Oh.
She's a palm reader. She very much has the final word in the Crowne women family. I mean, all of the Crowne women are doing what they want when they want, but if something has to be decided, Birdie's going to be the one to decide it.
Yeah.
In the bar, the Whispering Fool, which I desperately want to go to, you can reserve time with Birdie to get your palm read, and you have to like walk up the stairs to Birdie's office where she will read palms.
Yep.
And she's unbelievable. She's also a great gardener. Apparently she has a gorgeous flower garden. And as we learn, a lot of side hustles.
A lot of secrets.
A lot of secrets, a lot of side hustles. And then finally, the last of the Crowne women is Lou, who is Wyn, Joe, and Stevie's mom. And she is a little crazy and I believe a bit of a fuck up. You know, like it does sound like she's probably had a bit of a rough time on it. We don't know too much. We don't really know what happened with the girl's dad. Mm-hmm. There's not too much information. I'm not sure if he left, if he's dead, if he's whatever, but it didn't really sound like it was a good scene. Yeah. And she is sort of constantly at odds with Wyn. Like her and Wyn just never really got along. Yeah. And she is apparently an excellent cake baker. That's the way she shows her love, is making very complicated and delicious cakes, sneaking into her daughter's houses and then putting it in the refrigerator.
Leaving cakes.
Which
okay.
Yeah, could be
worse things.
All right, worse things, worse hobbies, worse reasons to break into somebody's house than to just leave them a delightful baked good. Yep. All right, Katie. So, what do you think this is giving? I want to hear you first because you're hot off. You're hot off the presses.
I think this is giving practical magic.
Oh my God, that's what I put. I was like, I wonder if she's gonna put it. Okay.
Practical magic and the ants. I also put Goodbye Earl by the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think those are like my top two. Those are the things that I
was wondering if you were going to say practical magic because that is what it gave me immediately. Practical magic without the magic.
Interestingly enough, Wyn is 35, I think that they say in the book. And so she has a grandmother, which I'm like, wow, having a grandmother at 35, that's pretty crazy. And her mother, they both seem very young. And so they remind me more of the aunts from Practical Magic than like a traditional grandmother and mom relationship.
Yeah, I agree. The way that Birdie and her mom are just like, particularly Birdie, is just holding court. I'm just like, oh, so this is Practical Magic. This is a small town in New England, only a small town in Tennessee, where everybody wants to talk about the Crownes and make fun of them until you need them. Until you need them. Yeah. 100%.
That's exactly it.
Okay. Do you want to do your one-line plot?
Okay. I'll do it. Hold on. I have to pull it up. This is the only thing I actually prepared.
Yeah.
Okay. A survivor meets a hot stranger, and somehow the path to healing involves a dead body, family drama, and the world's loudest small-town group chat.
Bum, bum, bum. Excellent. All right. Mine is actually pretty similar. A deeply traumatized professor with a whiskey habit learns that you can go home again as long as you're willing to overlook a little vigilantism, turn coping mechanisms into career opportunities, and occasionally dance on a bar. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Love it. Love it.
All right. High level, Katie. Hot off the presses. Did you like this book?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it. Loved it.
I was thinking when I was reading it, I'm like, we talk a lot about you and romance. And I always say it can't be the A plot, but I actually think I'm going to change that a little bit. And this is why you like romantasy too. It just can't be the only A plot. So like the ones that you like are romantasy, obviously. And that's the whole point, that it's fantasy and romance together at the top. Romantic suspense, what this is, it's together at the top. This is absolutely a romance, but there's so many other things going on that I think that's what it is. I would say How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates.
Yeah.
Even a romance horror movie. Like, that's...
And loved it. Like, it's not that I don't like romance. It's that I want a bunch of other things to be going on at the same time. And the fact that these two people are getting together and there's trauma and there's this and that, like, that's way more interesting than just like, oh, there's a hot hockey player on the team. It's like, who the fuck cares? There's always a hot hockey player on the team, you know?
Katie's words of wisdom. There's always a hot hockey player on the team. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Like this, yes, I loved it. I thought it was very well done. It was even still more, I felt like, suspenseful than Bourbon and Lies, kind of. And I can see that there's so much more mystery into the backstory of a lot of these characters that I'm like, oh wow, I'm really interested in seeing why is Lou, her mom, the way that she is, like what's going on with Birdie and how did she, come to get into all the things she's getting in. How'd she come to Bird? And is Stevie married or what? Like, I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Okay.
Because I have some spoilery things to say. Ready?
All right. Yep.
Spoiler alarm. Spoiler section. Time to go. Okay. All right. When did it grab you, Kay?
I mean, like Erica said, the first chapter is dark. And I even I think I texted you and I was like,
I think you tried to read it before you went to bed and you're like, I had to stop reading it and I also think I was dreaming about it. Like, it is very scary. She is held by a serial killer.
She is literally held by a serial killer. She is talking about how other people have come in since she's been being held and they've basically been tortured and dismembered and discarded to the side. And so
in front of her, basically to torture her in there too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was dreaming about it. And I was like, oh my God, I think I had nightmares about like this first chapter of the book.
Yeah.
And so loved it. Had to keep going.
I liked it right away too. I immediately was like, wow, dark. Yeah. And I'm interested to get into it. But I think what really grabbed me was, I want to say, maybe chapters like 3 and 4. So like the first chapter's the prologue. That's dark. She's in the grasp of the serial killer. She escapes. Yeah. Then she's Wyn. She's back in Rumor, trying to fit in, not really fitting in. Walks into the bar, sees Julian standing over a dead body, and then goes directly into the flashback Naomi. And the Naomi chapters I thought were so cool. And Naomi is when she was in witness protection. She was in a bar in Montana? Wyoming?
Somewhere that was north of Tennessee. It doesn't matter. I think it was Montana.
I think it was Montana too.
Yeah.
And she's bartending and she's, getting ready to host a podcast listening party for her sister's podcast. Like, we know it's Wyn, but she doesn't explicitly say it right away, which I also just like kept me going a little bit. It wasn't just like, this is the Wyn flashback. You had to sort of use your context clues.
Because I read this before I was going to bed, and each chapter is labeled like Wyn. There is some, like if it was years ago, months ago, something like that, there's usually like a time frame, or if it's Julian or somebody else. I got extremely confused.
You got confused with the Naomi chapter.
I got immediately confused with Naomi, and I was like, did I read that last night or was I dreaming? Or like, and then I was like, wait a second, what happened there? But then I mean, come on, give me a true crime podcast and you're doing whiskey tastings. Like that's,
you'd be there every week. Sign Katie up. What a great idea.
Naomi, girl, you're my bartender.
Yeah. I know. And she's infusing whiskeys. She's so fun. And then that's where she meets Julian, because Julian is there trying to find something. And this is where I should have gone back and just looked at that last book of Bourbon and Lies, but I'm almost positive in the last book, Bourbon and Secrets. No way.
Yeah.
Not Bourbon and Secrets. You know, it's this one, Bourbon and Proof. I'm almost positive that he gets asked by Ace to go and see if he can find somebody in witness protection. And that's why he goes out there.
That was one of my things that really confused me is I don't have any idea why he was out there in the first place. And I felt like that never closed the loop.
It's because it's coming from the Bourbon Boy series. I believe it's Ace. It could have been somebody in there. But while, you know what I kept thinking, once we finally learned the twist a little bit and we got the timeline, which we'll talk about in a sec, I thought that the old man behind the bar and the woman who were always fighting, we found out that they're part of the witness protection program. I thought it was Griff for a hot second.
Oh.
And because if you also didn't read all of the Bourbon Boys, we learned some things and how some people in the Fox family also had to go into witness protection in book 2 and 3, and Griff is connected to that. And I thought maybe he was out there, but that doesn't work time-wise once we learned the twist. So that was sort of the first connection to the Bourbon Boy series, was him going out there. And then, you know, he sees Naomi / Wyn, falls madly in love at first sight.
Love at first sight.
Yeah. I also thought that their chemistry in the book was excellent. I think that was done really well.
I thought it was great. I had no notes there.
Yeah. Do we want to get into the plot twists early so we don't have to dance around them?
Because I actually have some questions because I just finished this, so I have some
in case you guys didn't know, Katie just finished the book. She has some follow-up questions. Actually, you tell me what you think your biggest twist is, because I just did the Wyn Naomi, which I had as twist, but I don't really think that was so much of a twist as much as a literary device. So if I have 3 twists.
I'm actually really glad that I read the first Bourbon and Lies book, because
this
that
connects
to me
pretty directly
was
to that.
One of the biggest twists. But honestly, there's a lot of twists. One is that Birdie and Julian's dad had some type of relationship.
Yes. Because why, Katie? Why did they have a relationship?
Because they were goodbye Earling these fucking losers in this town that were beating on their wives, terrible, terrible men who somehow Birdie and Lou, the girls' mom, were basically poisoning these deadbeat husbands, boyfriends, whatever, and tossing them to those Gators.
Tossing them to the Gators. And when they couldn't toss them to the Gators, they called Julian's dad to clean up the bodies. And that's how they knew each other. They were just doing some vigilante shit in Rumor, Tennessee.
Loved it. I know. Loved that piece of it. I thought that was excellente.
I mean, they were keeping track of things. They had their finger on the pulse of what was going on in Rumor. But women would come to the bar and have a palm reading with Birdie and then ask her for help. And that's how they would sort of get on the payroll, if you will.
I never knew if it was, I was like, oh, well, obviously it's like when she's doing the palm readings or Birdie's garden club.
Yeah, the garden club. Yeah, I think the garden club is tangentially involved for sure, but the garden club helped spread the rumors. So all the rumors that Wyn hated throughout the years, that was, those Crowne women killing men. You never see them with husbands. Where do they go? Or like those Crowne women constantly sleeping around. Those Crowne women, this, that, and the other thing. They were all spread by Birdie, Lou, and the garden club. To sort of be like, how can all of it be true? If all of it can't be true, then none of it's true, sort of thing. And it was like part of their cover.
That was so practical magic.
Yes, so practical magic. Absolutely. And so Julian's dad was with Birdie
so they
for
were
years.
Romantically involved for years, and she had said that he went on one last job because Birdie was like, I don't know where my granddaughter is, and she has been gone. So Wyn had gone to give a speech at some sort of like academic conference and then just never came home, and there were all these rumors that she ran away from home, got married, got pregnant, did whatever, yada, yada, and then all of a sudden came back. So nobody actually knows the real reason that she left, which was that she did go to this academic conference and there was essentially a serial killer there that snatched her up.
Snatched her right up. I'll say I didn't really put 2 and 2 together at the time. Was that Julian comes in and saying, you know, he lost his father about 3 years ago. He went to do a job, some sort of cleaning job, but ended up dying someplace in New York City. And, you know, the police said he had a heart attack and died. And kind of that was that. And he was like, that's weird. Why would he go there and not let me know? Yeah. And of course, it turned out that last job that Birdie asked him to do was to find Wyn, and he did. He was the last victim that the serial killer brought in and did overpower that serial killer for just a second. And that's how Wyn escaped. But he ended up dying in the fight. So that's how he died. He died saving Wyn.
I actually got a couple questions about that.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the book, Wyn is in captivity by this crazy serial killer. And she says that there's a man that comes in. She understands that it's, you know, it's not a woman. She can tell that his breathing is different. He's like a bigger person, and that the serial killer left the door unlocked. And this guy that the serial killer captured said, Wyn, go, and basically like tackles the serial killer. And I thought about it at that moment. I was like, oh, he obviously knows who she is. Like, he came looking for her and she's able to escape. But I thought at another point during the book, she says that a woman comes in. And so now I'm like, how is there a woman? How is there a man? The next twist, which will lead into, is what I'm a little confused about.
That's the next twist, is that now I'm forgetting her name, for the love of God. Lainey, thank you. Is that Lainey, the love interest of Bourbon and Lies, who got put into witness protection because she saved a girl from a serial killer. Saved Wyn. She was the woman that Wyn ran into in that hallway. She was the woman that Lainey met in book 1, why she was put into witness protection. And so what we are led to believe was that there was a beginning part to that. And the beginning part was that Julian's dad went in there, tackled the serial killer, allowed Wyn to leave, and then Wyn ran into Lainey. Lainey got her out. But the serial killer also got out, locked onto Lainey, and that's why she had to go into witness protection, because he didn't die, and now he wants to go and kill Lainey. So when she said the woman who saved her, she was able to go home because the woman who saved her killed the serial killer. She was talking about Lainey killing the serial killer in that Rick House fire. But there was the beginning where Julian's dad also did the saving.
Yeah.
But so I think we're to believe the trauma also sort of blacked a little bit of that out for Wyn. She didn't really remember that until later in the book.
Yeah. So I will say, guys, if you haven't read Bourbon and Lies, I'm so glad that I did, because towards the end of this book, when Julian brings Wyn to Fiasco, she meets Lainey again. And, you know, she sees her, she turns around and she's like, oh my God, I know you. And that's a great scene in the book.
Yeah. And I really think it actually helps like Wyn's healing journey, because again, very legitimately traumatized. Our girl Wyn.
As you would be, yeah.
Yeah, she would be. And I think that really helped her, along with Julian being a supportive king. You know?
But also the fact that his fucking father
I know.
saved her. I mean, honestly, it's tragic.
It's tragic. I was concerned.
It's truly tragic.
I was concerned, and this didn't happen, and I was so glad that it didn't happen. I was concerned that when we figured out that it was Julian's dad who saved Wyn, for a second I was like, oh no, third act breakup. I was concerned that this was going to be something that like throws a wrench in their romance, but of course no. Of course not.
No.
Julian would never. Julian would be like, that was my dad saving my girl. I didn't know it yet. And I was like, exactly right, Julian.
You know, that's a great point. I felt like there wasn't a traditional third act breakup in this
No.
book.
And that's similar to Bourbon Boys, too. Like, that was one of the reasons originally I said Katie's first romance book should be Bourbon and Lies, because there's not a third act breakup. There's just a third act serial killer. And in this,
I like that a lot. I
Yeah.
like, because it's like, yeah, there's so many other things. Yeah, knowing that your dad was the one that saved you and then he ended up dying. I'm going to blame you for it. Like,
Yeah.
that's not real life. Like, no, people aren't going to do that.
Yeah. I was concerned it was going to happen. It didn't happen. And I should have known, because that's sort of not the type of romances Victoria Wilder writes.
No, but excellent.
So what was a scene stealer for you?
I mean, for me, for sure, was when Wyn goes to Fiasco, Kentucky, because they're having just like a romantic weekend getaway. And I was like, oh my gosh, how cute. We're going to see the boys from the Fox Distillery. And then she sees Lainey, and then it all kind of comes flooding back to me that this crazy serial killer, the reason that he's dead is because of Lainey, because he sought her out, and then obviously she burnt him to a fiery crisp. That was number one scene stealer. Absolutely fucking loved it. Also maybe a plot twist. Yeah, what was yours?
I had two. First, I just want to say that the first smutty scene when Julian and at that point Naomi like are in Montana and they have a little bit of a bathroom get it on scene. Loved it.
I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was really good. This had a bit of insta lust to it, right? Because they met each other in a bar, but then it became a whole other thing. So that was one of my scene stealers, and it was early in the book. And a lot of the times, like smutty scenes too early in the book, you're just like, oh no. But this was not the case. I thought it was really great. And then I think sort of the climax when the wimpy ex-boyfriend, Reed, gets what's coming to him. Yeah, guess what's coming to him at the end of the book. So Reed, who was not even a boyfriend to Wyn, it just seemed like maybe they went on a couple of dates. Maybe they slept together.
He was a TA. He was her TA, and they definitely slept together at some point.
And then she was like,
knew.
No, thanks.
Fucking knew.
No,
that
he
man
was squirrely.
Fish
From
the
was
beginning.
Squirrely. So when she comes back, it very much sounds like whatever relationship they had was very short-lived. She nipped it in the bud right away. And when she came back, he was just sniffing after her. He's a professor now. It seems like there's some weird rumors going on campus about him, but Wyn is just not paying attention. She's full of trauma, and she's not paying attention to these.
I don't even know. I'm glad I have a job.
Yeah, she's like, or am I glad I have a job? Should I just quit it all and make whiskey? Who knows? She's like, what's the point of anything? I was serial.
Torture.
I was almost serial killed. So I don't really know what I'm doing. And he was really not leaving her alone. Really not leaving her alone. And it turns out at the end of the book, Bertie and Lou have been watching Reed because all of the rumors around him and what they were hearing from students and TAs who would come and get a palm read by Bertie was that they didn't necessarily know if Reed assaulted them, but they would go out to a bar, they'd see Reed, their professor at the bar, and then they'd black out. They didn't remember anything. Would like wake up back at their house. They just felt like something went wrong. They didn't know.
Yeah.
And so he was on their radar. He was on the list. He was on the vigilante list. He was going to be Goodbye Earl.
I was just going to say, he was on the Goodbye Earl list.
Yeah, he was on the Goodbye Earl list. And Wyn is just not paying any attention. Wyn's like, this guy's annoying. This guy's whatever. Until she comes to the Whispering Fool. She takes a drink and then she starts to feel funny. Yeah. And she realizes, oh my God, the last time I felt like this was right before I was serial taken. And it turns out that Reed tried to roofie her right before she was taken by the serial killer. Just the serial killer got there first. So Reed wasn't able to assault her, but instead she was taken by a serial killer. Incredibly bad luck.
I don't want to say it's common, but it's not the first time I've heard of this, even in real life.
Like in your true crime podcasting days?
In my true crime, research, it's not the first time that something unfortunate happens to someone in the moment and then has nothing to do with their eventual demise. It's like you get into a fight with your boyfriend, he kicks you out of the car, and a fucking serial killer picks you up when you're hitchhiking. And so it's like a very true crimey thing that happened that I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. So in the bar, she realizes that, and of course he has a moment of bad guy telling us all of his secrets. Yeah. And she is trying to fight back, takes him outside the bar. Julian figures out what's going on. The mom and the grandma knows. Birdie's birdies have told her what's going on. And birdies. And they goodbye Earl him. They vigilante him behind the bar near the Gators, and it was great. Julian almost like murdered him with their bare hands, and Birdie basically comes with Lou and goes, "This is not how we do this, please." Yeah, and like they have this
a procedure.
Yeah, there's a ritual here, okay? Yeah. And it basically requires us feeding them poison whiskey.
Yeah, poison whiskey and then feeding them to the Gates.
Feeding them to the Gates.
You know, sometimes I think about alligators. And
do you know?
Damn, would that be a nasty way to go?
I think like being eaten by any carnivore would be not the way that I would prefer to go.
Yeah, but it is efficient.
It's definitely an efficient way of cleaning a body. And Julian, like they didn't need his services. After that,
this one.
So I thought that was absolutely great. I also want to say that I thought it was a really good balance between the romance and the suspense, but I think you're right. It tipped a little bit to suspense.
I actually had a moment where I thought, oh my gosh, is this giving Karen Slaughter? Is this giving, Pretty Girls? I thought this was much more thrilling, much more of a mystery, even though there was obviously romance, there was smut, but I was like, okay, maybe this is how I like my romance and my smut. It's the through line between the story, but there's so many other things happening. I thought it was awesome.
And then the other thing I just wanted to say is that in Bourbon and Lies, we were like, wow, was this a badly done witness protection program? Like instead of putting Lainey in witness protection, we just dropped her off at a distillery and we're just like, these guys will take care of her.
Yeah.
Peace.
Be good.
But at least this one, she was fully in witness protection and then left once the threat was neutralized. And
yes, that is true. Like,
and I was like, this is what that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I know a bit about witness protection, and
that's my sister Katy, an expert in witness protection.
If anyone
are you now? Is it because of your true crime? It's because of your
true crime?
My
true crime knowledge and background. But the people that don't succeed in witness protection are often those who end up leaving the program where the threat is not already neutralized.
Yeah. The threat was resolved.
This was giving a serial killer isolated event,
Yes, I did. Well, he was obsessed with her, but once she escaped, he did get obsessed with Lainey instead. So I don't think she should have just, taken the risk and gone back to Tennessee. I think hanging out in Montana was the way to go.
It's what Olivia Benson would do. So
it was what Mariska. Nixon
Mariska
5
would do it. Nixon 5, baby.
So I have a game, but before I do the game, I wanted to say, did a twist surprise you, or did you see them coming? Because again, there was a lot of them. We've gone through most of them.
I was surprised with the Lainey twist.
Okay.
I was really surprised there because I kind of assumed that maybe Julian was the through line. He was the one that mentioned fiasco. I thought it nearly brought a tear to my eye.
Okay.
The Lainey piece of it. So that was definitely a surprising piece of it. And also I thought Birdie knowing his dad was a good piece of it. Also, part of me thinks that it could potentially be that in another book, Stevie and Joe could be Tommy's kids.
I do think that might be possible too, because obviously Lou and Tommy have been getting it on, it sounds like, for years. I feel like we might get a Lou book.
Yeah,
we're obviously going to get
it.
the sisters. Like I said, Stevie's is the next book. Who knows? But I would read about Birdie. Birdie's my hero. Birdie's an icon.
Lou, she's colorful.
She's colorful. She's got a lot of stuff going on. I feel like there's a deep well there.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. I think the only one that I didn't see coming was the Birdie and Julian's dad twist.
You saw Lainey?
I did. I think it was because I read all of the Bourbon Boys series. Okay. I clocked pretty early on that she was probably in the Bourbon Boys serial killer grasp. It didn't immediately get there because the prologue had the man saying go win, and then she remembered the woman. So I was like, maybe it's a red herring. But I thought that pretty early on. So when they were going to Fiasco, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be the Lainey reveal. So like that's where I went. But we also had a lot more. There was a lot more witness protection stuff going on in the Bourbon Boys series that, like, in book 2 and 3, that sort of like connected a little bit.
I was like, did everything in Bourbon Elyse just get removed from
right
my
out
brain? Perhaps.
Well, that's why I thought
it does.
Yeah, that's why I thought that it could have been Griff in Montana in that bar.
So that's like not something I would have ever thought.
That's not something you would have known. We learned more about some things in the second and third book, which sort of connected it a little bit, and that's why I connected those. All right, are you ready for this game? So just a little preface: the Crowne sisters, and I'm going to include Birdie and the Crowne women, the women of the Crowne family, have just a million hobbies. You know, like they have a lot of hyperfixations, these women. So I'm going to list the ones that off the top of my head I remembered when I was making this list, and I need you to pick which one of these would be your Crowne woman hyperfixation. Whiskey. High-heeled shoes.
Ooh.
Making cakes. Painting. Palm reading. And this is just 5. I could have gone more. I had more listed, but I'm stopping it at 5.
Oh, that's so interesting because the one I would pick is not on that list.
Oh my God, what was the one you would pick?
True crime, baby.
Oh, I guess true crime podcasting. I guess I didn't put podcasting on there. I think I didn't put podcasting because we do podcasts.
Okay, so then, shit. I probably have to say shoes. Unfortunately, me and my sisters, not the same size shoe. I have never been able to share shoes with anyone.
Not like the Crowne sisters. The Crowne sisters all the same size, and they buy designer shoes and then trade them with each other. Like that was their form of currency. And
they would, if they got mad at each other, they'd be like, "You're off the list. You're off the currency list. You're no longer in the rotation."
Yeah, you're no longer getting the Christian Dior booties. Unfortunately, this is you've done something unforgivable, and so no more Christian Dior booties for you.
Yeah,
and so I did like that. So yes, you go shoes.
I love that. What would you do? I mean, I think I know what you would do.
I mean, I would love to do the palm reading.
Oh, that is not what I thought you would say.
What would you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say whiskey.
I mean,
sciences and math. I don't know.
I mean, I think I would love. There's a version.
That's
one
more
day.
Our father.
It's more our father. I would love to support our dad if he decided to science a liquor business out of thin air. I'd be like, absolutely, Dad. Let me use all of my day job skills to help this work.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm going to be science and mathing whiskey. Yeah. But I would love to be a palm reader. Like have people come to me and I could really read palms. Like I really felt like I could mean it. I really think that would speak to me. That's not only a fun party trick, but I feel like it could be life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. All right, Katie.
Yeah.
What was your rating?
5 stars, baby.
Ooh, you went 5 stars. You loved it. You fucking love a dual romance book.
I love crime, and I love romance that has to do with crime.
I hear you. All right, I gave it a 4.5 because I think And while I liked this, I just think the middle dragged a little bit. And I think it was because we're setting up this world. There was a lot of setup that was definitely needed to happen, and I didn't dislike it. But I felt like the middle of the book dragged a touch.
I was reading this exceptionally fast.
Yes, you had a job to do.
I had a job to do, so nothing dragged for me. But I thought it was super fun. I'm very happy I read it.
I cannot wait for the next book.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I want to read the next book. I want to hear the background. I want to hear, I don't know, they were mentioning about some billionaire coming to town, and I'm like,
oh, that's Julian's friend. That's the friend who gave him
I know,
the gem, the emerald. So I definitely want to read the second one, but I have a feeling like Stevie's book is going to be the 5-star book. It was almost like that. I was like, I can already tell that I think the next book's going to be 5 stars for me. So this one's 4.5. It's sort of a technicality. I'm a heavy romance reader, technicality.
Okay.
But it was excellent. Can't say anything bad about it. Thought it was really good. I want to be a Crowne woman.
I mean,
in the worst
also
way.
Victoria Walder, the names you pick are fucking excellent.
Yeah.
So good. Crowne with an E.
Crowne with an E is great.
Sexy.
Yeah, it is sexy. It's like Fox 2 X's.
Come on. Stunning. All right, we got to get out of here.
Oh, Katie. Take us out, Kay.
All right, next time on Genre, we are reading my pick, Broken Dove, by the mysterious Dani Francis.
Who is she?
Who is they?
That's true. Who is they? Good call out, Katie. Good call out.
So remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, no genre shaming unless it's funny.
Bye.